Well, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Give yourselves a big round of applause, please. On behalf of RBC and my colleagues, many of whom are here today, it is my privilege to bring a couple of remarks at the end of what hopefully has been a tremendously successful and inspiring conference this year, one that we have missed in person for too long, but certainly one that for the last 4 years has been a real source of inspiration, not just for me, but for the team of us that lead RBC Future Launch in particular, and tarry with Sharif and his team at the Students' Commission of Canada to convene these important conversations on an annual basis. And I will say, and I'm sure that my colleagues also agree with me, that of all of the events that we convene and sponsor or partner on or partner with, the Students' Commission of Canada is by far one of the most important. I can't say the most important because we have over 500 partners, but the one thing that happens every year is that through your work, you actually remind us of the importance of grounding our work and our ambitions of RBC Future Launch in the youth voice. And I cannot remember who said it here today, but for me, it was a stark reminder to all of us who are in these privileged roles that we have at RBC, leading whether it is RBC Future Launch or RBC Tech for Nature, or RBC Emerging Artists, to make sure that we are true to the work that we are doing. And in the case of RBC Future Launch, it is in ensuring that our work is informed by the voices of our students. Sharif, thank you so much for your comments, and thank you for inviting us back. It is good to see you in person after 2 years. I'm glad to see that, notwithstanding this is a smaller room today because the Roy Thompson Hall is so much bigger, we've got youth gathering from coast to coast to coast, as evidenced on the screen. And if you would, those of you in the room, before we close, give our participants who are participating virtually a big round of applause for sticking with us for the conference. Normally, I would actually go through each presentation and provide a summary, but I am mindful that we are well past noon and we're supposed to break for lunch. But I just want to say really quickly a warm thank you to Finney and Jobin for their presentation on the Canada Food Guide, to Atlas, to Brooke, and to Roy for their presentation on healthy relationships, to Zara and Miriam for their presentation on the international experience and cultural immersion session, to Oswaldo and to Justice for their presentation on the impact of development on community, to Jalen and, I want to be respectful here, Namurembe, did I get that right? Wonderful. For sharing stories and virtual reality. I also want to recognize Candice and Kiera, and I particularly enjoyed their presentation around telling me you're broke without telling me you're broke. It is something that I hear from my 21-year-old son every Friday when he's looking for his allowance. He's in school, and that's why he has an allowance, just so we're clear. And then the final presentation around truth and reconciliation. And I hope that for all of us, that was a sobering moment. It is not enough. It is not enough to reflect on truth and reconciliation one day a year or 1 month a year. Truth and reconciliation has to be at the forefront of everything we do and everything we say, how we live our lives, recognizing that a vast majority of individuals who call Canada home are, in fact, settlers. And we owe it to the First Peoples of Canada to acknowledge that more work needs to be done to ensure that the aspirations of Indigenous communities everywhere are caught up and are joined in our aspirations for Canada. For if we do not lead with them, we are not leading with Canada in mind. And I would then just end my comments really quickly by returning a compliment to you, our youth. And Frank, in her Tales from the Secret Annex, implored us all to aspire to inspire before we expire. And all of you have done that over this past week. You've caused us to think about how we inspire before we expire. There's a lot more work to be done. There's a lot of heavy lifting to be done. There's a lot of systems that need to be dismantled and broken down. And as I said before, it is incumbent on all of us, youth, middle-aged, vintage like me, to do our small part as a collective to ensure that this just society that we speak so highly of and this just society that we aspire to become becomes that society because of the work that we do together on behalf of this great country that we love. Thank you.